مر الزمان تألقا وأضاء للدنيا طريقا مشرقا وهدى من الرحمن يهدينا به للصالحات وللمكارم والتقى هذا كتاب الله أعذب منهل أنعم به.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to the 16th part of this series where we're looking at the 40 Hadith pertaining to the virtues and the rulings of the Qur'an. In today's lesson we are going to look at the Hadith of Ibn Abbās radiallahu anhu, where he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إن الرجل الذي ليس في جوفه شيء من القرآن كالبيت الخرب. The man who has no Qur'an in his heart, then he is like an uninhabited, or his heart is like an uninhabited derelict house. And this hadith is reported in Tirmidhi and other books of hadith. And just some scholars, they did say maybe that this hadith has some weakness in it. Some scholars did actually say it is da'if, a weak hadith. Nonetheless, its meaning is sound, according to most scholars. So let us, inshallah, just reflect upon its meaning and, inshallah, try and take benefit from the hadith itself. So the one who has no Qur'an inside of him, then his heart is like a derelict and uninhabited house. So this indicates that a person must have some portion of Qur'an within his heart. And this is because the Qur'an itself, whether it be in its actual wording itself or the teachings of the Qur'an itself, they actually adorn and beautify one's inner state. Just like if you have a house and you live in a house, you adorn it, you put furniture in it, you make it livable, and you make it comfortable, you make your surroundings as comfortable as much as you possibly can. But the one who has no Qur'an in him, then his inward state, his inner state, his heart is like this derelict and uninhabited house. And what happens to a derelict and uninhabited house? Number one, it falls apart, it becomes very dirty, and people find no comfort in such places. And so likewise the heart of the believer, if he has no Qur'an, he has memorized no Qur'an in his heart, then his heart becomes decayed, it becomes uninhabitable, meaning Iman can't really rest in such a place. And so the person who's very far away from the Qur'an, is very easy for that person to even leave Islam, subhanallah. Because it's the Qur'an that keeps us upon the straight path. It is the siratul mustaqim. It is the straight path. And that's why even many scholars, they said, when we say ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, guide us to the straight path, many scholars interpret that to mean guide us to the Qur'an itself, because the Qur'an is the straight path itself. And likewise, we looked in the previous ahadith, man ja'alahu amamahu qadahu ila al-jannati. Whoever places it in front of him, that will lead him to paradise. وَمَنْ جَعَلَهُ خَلْفَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ. And the one who places it behind him, then he will push him to the hellfire. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So, what do we learn from this hadith? That we should, inshallah, strive to make the Qur'an a part of our hearts. And the way we achieve that is by memorizing as much as we possibly can, but making a living part of our lives, such that we take our guidance from the Qur'an itself, inshallah. And this hadith serves as a warning as well, not to neglect the Qur'an and not to neglect its memorization. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with the nur of the Qur'an, and we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst those who have no Qur'an in their hearts. Barakallahu feekum. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
مر الزمان تألقا وأضاء للدنيا طريقا مشرقا وهدى من الرحمن يهدينا به للصالحات وللمكارم والتقى نور على مر الزمان تألقا.